And all I know is I need to go home to mom and dad, and I need to show up at their house and just say, you know what, I'm here. I'm ready to change my life. You know, I have a fiance in California. I need a place to stay. And I want to get reinstated. I'm going to start attending meetings, and I'm going to come back into the truth. And I mean it with all my heart, too. You know, I had this vision of, you know, like the prodigal son story has always just really, you know, resonated with me. And in the story, I always feel that I'm the prodigal son, but there have been people that have told me that it's the other way around, that you're the found one and they're the lost ones. But still, when you're the only one that's out there, and, you know, you're having, like, even in the story, the prodigal son went far away, right? And the city where he was fell on hard times, you know, with drought or whatever, right?
Yeah,
and, so he was financially destitute when he came back to his father's house. So that's what I was a month ago.
Yeah, but look, I've gotta look. You've got to let me talk again for a minute here, because I'm transfixed by the story, but yet you're confusing me, because you've learned the truth about the truth. You know, Tat. You know this religion is a sham. In fact, earlier in this conversation, my goodness, we've talked almost 3.5 hours now. Earlier in this conversation, you described how wicked and bankrupt and boring and terrible the Jehovah's Witness religion is that you escaped. And now, just a minute ago, you said you're trying to get reinstated. Do you understand why I'm confused?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
It's okay, though. I mean, if you're doing it for family reasons, I understand that. I've had several friends of mine, Londo and others. Yeah, I mean, if you got to do, my friend Greg Blassingame, you know, he's going back strictly because of his wife Martha, and he loves her, and he wants to have a relationship with her and his kids again, and there's no other reason but that. I mean, is that what we're talking about?
I would say that's pretty accurate, yeah.
Okay. All right. I understand.
Of course I don't believe that the Watchtower and the Faithful and the Discreet Slave, whoever they are currently saying that is now, is any kind of truth at all. It rubs me the wrong way, every part of it in the worst way. And it's doubtful even that I have very many family members that I would even like anymore these days. And they certainly don't like me. But I am at a point and a place socially and otherwise where I'm just so damn lonely, Eric. I am so alone in this universe, and I have utterly failed to form the kind of attachment that I could call family with anybody. I mean, I've been sort of adopted by this and that family over the years. They hear me talking about my being shunned by my family for religious reasons, and they invite me to Christmas and this and that, and I'm always just a charity case or, you know, whatever, so a charity case, that kind of thing. I don't really ever feel like I am a member of the family, and I feel like it's stuck out like a sore thumb. I don't have any foundation. I don't have, right now, especially, I don't have anybody except for Honey Bear to come home to.
Honey Bear.
There's been times, you know, even when I was having my productive years and I had, you know, some relationships at work and this and that, for the most part, if I died, nobody would even freaking know that I was dead. Nobody knows where I am. Nobody knows my number, my address. Nobody visits me. Nobody does any of that. It's so lonely and dark.
We're gonna look. Hey, look. We're gonna
family.
change that. We're gonna change that. I really want to say this. To me, this is the beginning of something. This is the beginning of a new chapter, and we're gonna help you and do what we can, and you're gonna do what you need to do to get back to where you were. I mean, you've got a teaching degree. You're obviously very intelligent, very articulate. So you're gonna get through this. That's just my positivity speaking, but I believe it.
I appreciate that, and I affirm that, and I pray to God that be the case. But I've had these new starts here and there throughout over the years, and I don't know. There's a man, a really special friend, actually, at the First Friends of Long Beach Church. His name is Joe Schaefer, and he was like the only one there for me through a lot of my hard times in the last few years. And but he actually has a paid position as pastor to the community, so he actually got paid for helping me out. But he set such an amazing example of selflessness in working on my behalf, and the number of hours that he put in, helping me, counseling me, taking me out to dinner, being my friend, really. I couldn't even count those hours. He broke rules for me. He literally let me move into that crawl space, against church wishes for me, but when I was, when I've been especially depressed, and I've battled with depression my whole life, actually. My mom told me once that I was born depressed, and that's part of my troubles, just that, I think biochemically I have this predisposition towards being just kind of sad. I feel sadness a lot. And, but Joe, shook me up once recently, about a month ago, and he said, just love. And I would say, blah, 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 blah. No, shut up. Just love. Stop. And don't think about your situation. Don't think about anything. Make decisions based on love. And for me to have this great gulf between my brothers and sisters and my parents and me, this is a call to arms for me. This is a realization that I have to get down on the ground and fucking eat shit to fucking mend my relationship with my parents and my siblings and other Jehovah's Witnesses, that I'm going to fucking do that shit for God's sake, for love. If it's loving for me to fucking eat shit, then that's what I got to do.
Right.
That's what I'm doing right now. I'm eating fucking shit.
Whoa. Okay. So I liked what you were saying about your church helper back here in California about love, but now you're turning a little dark. I mean, you're saying, okay, you're going to eat crow, you're going to eat shit, and you're going to crawl on your belly like a reptile, and you're going to get reinstated. And the goal is to have a relationship maybe with your siblings. I think you said you had 7 or 8, brothers and sisters. Is that so?
Yeah, 8. I have 8 siblings. But of course, not all of them are witnesses now. I mean, one is definitely not, and another is sort of never has been. But
so you got them to turn to right now. I mean, possibly, right?
They are not really there for me. One brother is like 20 years older than me, and he's got his own life. He's kind of, I don't know, he's not even close to being reliable as a friend of any kind, and he's inaccessible for religious sake.
Right.
He was actually quite overjoyed when I was disfellowshipped. You know, he was like, "Yeah, awesome, he's out." You know.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, Eric, I can't die or let my parents die like we are right now. And it's completely. I have tried and tried and tried to have some sort of relationship with them, in spite of me being disfellowshipped, and it's just not possible. If I say I love you to my dad or mom, that's like saying I'm going to take a gun and kill you to them. I mean, they take I love you as an attack on them.
I don't understand.
That's how they. I don't either. Yeah, it's because I've been, you know, I've done you know, it's not just what I've done activism-wise, you know, against Jehovah's Witnesses, but, you know, they know that I have verbally attacked them many times in very, very angry ways in their religion. For, you know, years even after the disfellowship, I would still try to throw stuff at them, you know, thoughts, I mean, not objects, that would get them to think critically. I would try to make contact with them, but even, you know, it's just that even calling them, picking up the phone and calling them, they view that already as an attack, is the thing. It doesn't matter if I'm just going to say, I love you, bye, talk to you later. You know, it doesn't matter. What I say, anything I say is taken as an aggressive, violent attack. And that has been that way almost since the day I was disfellowshipped. You know, there's a couple of other things that went on. Like I protested at conventions. I've done that before, and I've made fun of them. I dressed up as Elvis a couple of times and went out in front of the conventions and sang kingdom songs.
Oh my goodness!
As Elvis. And the problem with doing that, though, is that I didn't know my family from Georgia was visiting. They didn't tell me they were going to be there.
They saw you do this?
They saw me dressed as Elvis singing into a hairbrush.
I'm sorry, dude. I can't help it. This is really funny. Okay, you dressed up as Elvis and participated in an XJW picket at the district convention, and then your family from Georgia happened to be there and see you.
Yeah, they see me.
This is like losing the lottery a billion times.
What's that?
This is like losing the lottery a billion times.
Yeah, a lot of people recognize me. I did that, I think, at 2, maybe 3 conventions, and
okay.
And it got around in my circuit back home in El Monte, San Gabriel Valley, that I did this, right? And nobody thought it was funny. I thought it was the most hilarious thing in the world. And at least one of the times, I was just straight up stoned off my ass, too. I got really, really high and dressed up as Elvis and went out there. And the thing is like, have you ever been to the Long Beach Convention Center? Right?
I have. I've been there.
Where the public protests part thing is, right? Is right against the building and a big glass wall and the entrance, right? And everybody just streams right past there.
Right.
And I have a really, really good singing voice, and I was belting out, "Hey there, all you thirsty ones," just beautifully singing, and the echo was everywhere. And people just, I knew all the words and everything. I'd go start to finish on these songs, and it just, to me, it was a beautiful experience, to get that off my chest, to just, make fun of them. And I did quite a bit of making fun of JWs over the years. And, it got around, the local elders in Long Beach would every time that I would, see Jehovah's Witnesses out doing street work on Long Beach Boulevard, which is, every day, I would always take a couple of minutes to engage them and say something thought-provoking, no matter where I was going. Sometimes, making myself late for work or whatever was the case, it didn't matter. I had to take any opportunity to talk to any Jehovah's Witness I saw anywhere. And so you do that enough times in a city, even in a city as big as Long Beach, actually, the elders, people start going back to the King of all and telling elders, there's this guy out there, this raging apostate who's talking to us and telling us this and telling us that. And, so the elders would call my family, so I got this text from my brother Danny not too long ago. But, I saw reports that you harass every single witness that you see, and blah 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 blah.
You know what's crazy? What's crazy is my friend Greg used to do stuff almost as outrageous as that, and they never could touch him. They never DF'd him because he had a legal angle, and he did outrageous things, and then ultimately he went back to the religion. Like I said, it's just weird. But so your brother tries to talk some sense into you, or what?
Not really. We exchanged texts a few months ago, back and forth, and I just, it was around the time I was homeless, and just really looking anywhere, being homeless makes you so desperate that you will do just about anything to just get into a place or get some money, you know what I mean? So I was turning to family, and I'm turning to family still, even though I haven't gotten any results from turning to family just yet. A lot of negative results, actually. But whatever the case is, I find myself here in Georgia. Me and my fiance actually were wanting to move to Chattanooga, which is not far from here, because she has children there. So that was kind of, when we were dating, that was kind of the plan, was to come back here anyway. And I thought, man, it would be nice to, go to Middle Georgia first, and maybe get reinstated, and have family at my wedding, and you have dreams like that. Still, I have dreams like that. I believe in the power of love, and I believe that if I just love them back while they're hating me enough, that just one day there's going to be this breakthrough, and we're going to be like we were kids again, playing, and just even as adults, in my 20s, they were just so proud of me when I was at Bethel. They're just beaming radiance and pride, with me, and just to juxtaposition that with how they feel now, it hurts me so deeply,
Yeah, but Shawn, look, I'm just an objective observer, and I'm listening to you, and what you're doing is you're idealizing this fantasy in your mind of what's going to happen and how everything's going to be wonderful again, and you're going to have a pet panda, and things are going to be great again. And look, I'm just being honest with you. You're building up now this fantasy in your head of what maybe it could be like, and I'm certainly a positive. I'm an optimistic person, but I just want you to be realistic about things too. Is all I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, I consider the possibility that, let's say I got reinstated, and then I say, hey, hi, Mom and Dad, I show up at their house or whatever the case, and they're like, well, Shawn, you just got reinstated, and like, we really would prefer if you, built up a little bit of time of, trust and everything with the congregation before you start coming by here. I could totally hear my parents saying that, and all my brothers and sisters. Mm-hmm. I would not be surprised even a tiny bit if they said that.
Well, look, because they're skeptical. Look, Shawn, Zen, they're skeptical. You're the relapse guy. And they're gonna stand with their hands on their hips and wait for you to fall and be skeptical because they think that they've seen that happen over and over, and that's why they are that way. But you don't have to get all these other people's approval to succeed and to like yourself and to love yourself is what I feel.
That's certainly true.
But I mean, you have practical reasons why you want to try to get back in, and I get that. Anybody that's been through the cult experience and left it understands why you have that reasoning and why you may need to go back. I mean, they get it.
Yeah, I don't know what going back would look like. I mean, I honestly wouldn't plan on. If I could, I would hear the announcement of reinstatement and possibly never even go back to Kingdom Hall. And I'm like thinking, well, maybe I'll send my publisher card around the world or something like that, and just get that out of the way. Just at least so they can't shun me on that level anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, your status will be cleansed.
Or they'll have to come up with some other reason to shun me, which of course, I was being shunned to an extent for that brief period,
Yeah, it's a distinction. It's a distinction without a difference.
I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, I know things will never be just the way they were before. I don't know. I'm looking for some resolution. I'm looking for a healing. I'm looking for some peace, and I'm looking for family. I can't seem to find my anchor. I was just thinking today,
I can't fault you for that.
I'm gonna talk to Eric tonight. What am I gonna talk to him about? And I was trying to think of an illustration to describe myself the way I feel right now, and I'm like, okay, I'm a sailboat. Sails are thrashed. The big whatever thing is broken. No rudder. And no anchor at all. And it's a storm, and I'm just blown about, and I just can't seem to. I can't find home. I don't know where home is. I just feel lost, and shoot, man, I don't know. I just can't seem to. And then the other part is I can't seem to get myself together and be productive. Like what's wrong with me? Why can't I get a job? Why can't I be? Why can't I could at least be freaking have some money? You know what I mean? That would be nice. I could have all these other shitty problems and have some money, and that would be kind of cool.
Well, I mean, there's really nothing preventing you from applying for a job as a substitute teacher and eventually a full-time teacher, right?
Well, it's a little bit more complicated than that, yeah.
Look, we've gone for about 4 hours now. I'm thinking maybe we can kind of sum it up and make a conclusion to this, but I would like to say to be continued, right? To be continued, because we would definitely like to come back and hear, your progress, 6 months from now or even less, and find out, what has happened and how you figured out this stuff.
Yeah, we're getting into an area of my, emotions and psyche here where, I even, I can see, I can see on an intellectual level that I have some obvious contradictions. I've always kind of been that way though, but I still yearn for that healing, and until I find something to take its place, I don't see how I can do anything different than what I'm doing right now with this whole getting reinstated thing.
Well, look, the fact that you have a plan, you have a goal, to me speaks well, and that you've got a purpose, and you know what you want to accomplish, and I think that's a step in the right direction. You've the last year or so until just recently you were homeless, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, so things are getting better, and hopefully this is just the beginning of that trend.
Yeah, and I'm actually, I finally got my student loan stuff squared away to where I'm actually enrolling in a master's program in Kaplan University. So that's if I don't get into any other universities. That's like my backup university. So I'm getting a master's in psychology of all things.
So that's the thing is that you could go back to being a student again, and then you would be able to get what, a student loan or a grant or something that would support you while
I'd get money. I get money to live off of. I was thinking that not too long ago that when I was really at my prime productively was when I was in college. And I am a great student, I gotta say, that's one thing that I've done that, I'm proud of myself at, and every teacher I ever had loved the hell out of me, and I always got easy A's all the time, not easy, I always worked my ass off, but I need to be, my brain is such that if I'm not aggressively learning stuff that's interesting to me, I will probably lapse back on this depressive kind of, self-pitying type of situation, and I may get so involved in college that, maybe I'll drop the reinstatement idea. I don't know. It's only costing me two nights a week.
Mm-hmm.
For an hour and a half, or Sunday for, 2 hours in the morning. What am I going to do on Sunday morning anyway, right? I'm just going to sleep in.
Right. Well, hey, let me...
And then one night, and that's
so
all I got to do.
You have the time. You have the time. So look, Shawn, I suspect there's going to be a number of people that are going to want to wish you well, maybe send you some messages, give you an attaboy or a pat on the back or an offer for, who knows, for work or a loan or anything. I don't know. But do you have
I wouldn't want to put it out there that I'm, asking or expecting or even wanting that, because I actually am in a situation now that I can absolutely maintain on my own. Moving to an area that I can afford was just the obvious.
Yeah. Well, to get by with rent at $350.
But I certainly, I sure as hell could use a friend, and I'm not going to turn down any offers to get to know people. So I will put, I don't know, if something that I say or how I say it resonates with somebody and they want to talk to me. I am putting my real name out there, and I'm just, I'm speaking from the bottom of my heart and my soul when I talk, and I'm a person that's full of contradictions and failures and failings, but, I think I do have integrity
Absolutely.
I think I'm a good person.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely, and that's I love to hear you say that. So, do you have an email address or even a phone number that I could put in the description of this YouTube video, or do you want to just wait on that?
God, you know, I don't know a phone number. That might be a little bit too much, but let's see. How do people communicate with me these days?
Well, if you have a Facebook page, Facebook account.
My Zen Galileo Facebook is what probably they should go to.
Okay.
And it's not exactly up to date, you know, necessarily, but at least you can communicate with me and see what I look like nowadays.
Well, and also people can message you, and you can interact with them. I mean, that's one of the things that I think will be cathartic for you, and also for a lot of other folks that hear this. I already know that people are going to be listening to this, and their heart is going to be touched, and they're going to want to send you positive vibrations, or just, you know, like I said, give you some attaboys and some feedback. And I think that's great, and we all need that. We all thrive. The human condition thrives on those kinds of things. So
I used to teach little children, so yeah, I know exactly how much they need those happy faces and smiles and all that stuff. You know, great job, all that stuff. You can't give away too many of those.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Look, I really want to thank you for just bearing a huge aspect and portion of your life in an interview like this. I hope that it felt good for you, that you weren't, self-conscious about it. You certainly sounded like you were as natural as could be, and admitting all these situations and flaws, and sharing what happened at Bethel and all the rest. Thank you for the conversation. This has been an epic interview, in my opinion.
Well, thank you for the opportunity, and again, I hope you continue doing this. And I mean, I'm sure that there's thousands of me's out there, and I hope your website and your YouTube is filled with all of these interviews, because there's so many stories that need to be told, and I hope they all get told.
Mm-hmm. Right. Great sentiment to have. Thanks again, Dean, or Shawn. I got your name all mixed around. Shawn Zen Dean. Thanks again, Shawn. You take care, and we'll talk to you again.
All right, take care, man.
All right, bye-bye.
The order is rapidly fading, for the times they are